If you feel you have what it takes to be awarded as the best in the business, here is your chance to apply. Head on over to our website, download the form and apply. If you face any troubles when applying or feel the need to get in touch with us directly, email us, call us, tweet at me directly at Sunanda_J or join our Facebook group.
Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, 18-hour special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. This is the only daily MSME platform in the country, a show where you can voice your concerns and get answers to all your questions directly from our experts. We understand the issues that you, the MSME entrepreneur, face, and this show aims to bring you the most relevant and updated information on everything related to your businesses. Today, I'll bring you a quick recap of an interview I did earlier with Amrita Nair. On the show today, a chat with Tata Teleservices on our Insights segment. And on Bright Sparks, we're featuring Scootsy and Bohiko. A lot of you write in to us to say that you are a part of family-run businesses and you ask our experts for tips and tricks on how to make these relationships work, whether it's professional or personal. One thing our experts say is that the younger generation should have the freedom to pursue their own path, something that tonight's guest has taken to heart. Amrita Nair of the Leela Group worked very closely with the family business before deciding to strike out on her own. Here's her story and her advice for you, the MSME entrepreneur.
There's certainly a huge amount of single assets that are on the market. So I think that there's certainly potential there for transactions. Right. In my space, which is more on the management side, because Ayana is completely asset light. So we come on board as the operator as opposed to looking at owning the real estate. What we've seen there is that there've been a handful of sort of regional players that could potentially be targets for acquisition. So there's certainly interest there too, because it's a faster way to grow. So someone entering the India market, that would certainly be of interest, because it would add to your portfolio fairly quickly.
Everyone's talking digital, but what exactly does it entail and how can small businesses harness technology better without, of course, taking on the huge costs that come with it? I spoke with the top management of Tata Teleservices to get you, the MSME entrepreneur, some expert advice. Listen. Thank you very much for coming down to our studios and talking to us about how companies like yourself are working closely with MSMEs and SMEs. And let me kick this conversation off by talking about Internet of Things. Everyone is talking about IoT. Talk to our viewers about how companies like yourself are using IoT and how that's possibly changing the industry and how MSMEs and SMEs can really participate in that.
So IoT has impact both on the consumer side of the business as well as the enterprise side, the businesses. Consumer examples are very many, right? Controlling your refrigerator sending out an automatic order when the eggs or milk get over, and those would happen. But more importantly, businesses are adopting IoT to either improve operational efficiency or to get faster response time. All of us want to track our assets. Where is my package that I've ordered from the retail online company, but also the companies want to track where their fleet is. Is the driver following a pre-designated route, or is he deviating? Is he going above a particular speed, and so on? So vehicle tracking, fleet tracking. We've launched a school bus tracking service. Parents in urban cities want to make sure that they're not standing on the bus stop 20 minutes before the bus comes. So this gives you an alert that the bus has, by the way, reached this station and it's going to reach the next station in 5 minutes. So there are various applications of IoT both in the consumer side of things as well as the business side of things. And that's what is happening. That's what is getting adopted. More on the business side, less on the consumer side. That will happen in a few years from now.
So fascinating changes are taking place. But maybe we should take a step back at this point and talk about what exactly is the definition for digital. Is there a sacrosanct definition, and how has that been changing?
So digital means different things to different people. I would take three elements or the three pillars of digital as being social, being mobile and being virtual. These three I would say encompass digital. Uh, Being virtual, because connectivity is improving, so you are able to leverage the central knowledge even if you are at a remote location. So what you call as cloud computing, you call as applications that reside elsewhere, but you derive the application at a remote location. So cloud slash virtual is one big phenomenon which is changing how we look at technology. Second, mobile. Clearly, we are a mobile first nation. We've got close to 1 billion connections, and the power of mobile is enabling customers, your own employees, to conduct work when they're not in the premises of the office. And how do you interact with employees or customers when they are mobile is creating the next phenomenon in digital. Social, because now there are multiple publishers. Gone are the days when there was a fourth estate. Now the fourth estate is 6 billion people, right? Everybody is writing. So your customers are writing, your customers are giving you feedback 24/7.
Even as you're talking of the application of digital, we started this conversation with you saying that, the kind of changes that we're seeing, for example, in IoT are more from an enterprise level than a consumer level. From that enterprise angle, I want to talk to you about how much of digital is really being adapted by MSMEs and SMEs.
So I think one of the things that digital enable is actually democratize the market. No longer are businesses only limited to somebody having a huge capital, huge organization. And if I go back 20 years, you asked people what is a large enterprise and what are your assets. People said, oh, I've got multiple factories, I've got 5,000 employees, and that connoted a large enterprise. Today, what were considered as assets are in most businesses becoming liabilities, right? You have a company which has got a $20 billion valuation with just 50 employees, WhatsApp for example. So the definition of what is an asset is completely changing, and because of technology, you no longer are constrained by capital.
Okay, so even as it's creating a level playing field for MSMEs and SMEs, would it be possible for you to lay your finger on what you think is going to be the disruptor in the digital space, say, over the next 5 years, and how our viewers should be ready for it?
I don't think there's one thing that's going to impact. There are 2 or 3 outcomes out of digital, right? One is ability to reach your customer better. 2, ability to segment your customer with the size of one. See, today most brands, they don't know who their customers are, right? So they say, I think my customer is a 18 to 24-year male who's got this education and comes from a SEC. That's what people know, and that's how campaigns are run. You reach out to customers through various vehicles, but digital allows you to communicate with customer on a one-to-one level, because he's leaving behind a digital footprint. That's in fact allowing you to do one-to-one marketing to a huge millions of customers, which earlier was not possible. So clearly it's equipping the brands to reach to their customers better.
I want to talk about government regulation at this point, and the government regulatory framework and government policies. One thing, of course, is Digital India. How do you think Digital India is changing the way businesses can participate in this? And I particularly want you to talk to our MSME viewers about how they can participate more in government initiatives like this.
Sure. So Digital India as a platform has been launched. It talks about initiatives such as smart cities and smart corridors, and each of these efforts in digital will create opportunities for small and medium enterprises to partner to deliver products. So just the Digital India framework would enable lots of businesses to mushroom. For example, when in the 1920s and 1930s in US, when US was on an infrastructure building mode where roads were being constructed, it created lots of job opportunities. Similarly, a Digital India framework, Make in India framework will create job opportunities for small medium enterprises to sell their products to large enterprises, also to governments when they are deploying these technologies.
Okay, but do you see enough MSMEs participating in this? Because the feedback that we get here on the Leaders of Tomorrow is that a lot of companies are saying that we are yet to see the benefits of programs like a Digital India or a Make in India trickling down to where we are. Is it early days yet?
So two things. One, early days. Second, also you may not see direct impact, but it is coming indirectly.
Okay.
For example, there may be a big system integrator who's doing this smart city for the government, but he in turn is going to smaller companies to get various solutions. So they may not be doing this work directly with the government, but they're doing work for large enterprise system integrators who are eventually doing some of these government programs.
Okay, let's talk about startups. Even as startups are of course increasing, and we're seeing different verticals and different industries being represented as far as startups are concerned. How do you work with them?
We've created products which allow a startup to consume. See, what is the biggest worry of a startup? Where am I going to get funding? Can I do a capital intensive expenditure? So we've created ticket sizes, the sachet if you will, of products, so that it's easy for startups to consume. They can pay as they grow, and we believe since startups are technology first, mobile first organizations, there's a natural fit between startups and a company like us. So we're partnering with lots of startups.
Let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll feature Scootsy and Bohiko. Welcome back. You're with us here on the Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight we're featuring Scootsy and Bohiko on our Bright Spark segment. Now, the word instant is no more limited to just coffee. E-commerce created a huge market for customers where products can be instantly bought and quickly delivered. On Bright Sparks tonight, we're featuring Scootsy that delivers not just food but gifts, flowers, books, toys, you name it, and they will deliver it all within just 90 minutes of placing your order. Palumi Mukhopadhyay caught up with its founders to understand how this hyperlocal delivery service is different from others and what lessons you, the entrepreneur, can learn from customers in terms of on-demand delivery preferences.
30 minutes pizza delivery. Not breaking news anymore. But what if I tell you that you can now order anything from any part of the city, be it food items or fashion accessories, books or bouquets, and even SOS essentials like condoms within just 60 minutes of placing an order. Meet the new age knight in shining armor, Scootsy.
Sandeep, what is Scootsy and why did you choose such a name for your startup?
Scootsy is a delivery and discovery platform of everything that we think people would need instantly. Well, the name comes from scoot, which means quickly, fast, in a jiffy. It also signifies the vehicle that we use mostly for our deliveries, that being the scooter.
Right. So Scootsy is literally the middleman between the purchaser and the seller. So when it comes to your revenue model, how do you manage that since you don't even claim any delivery charges?
We're not really middlemen. We're more an enabler for all kinds of businesses to list on our platform. And we introduce them to the masses. The revenue model is a portion of the bill generated by our partner goes to us as a fee.
So now coming to the business part, why would a partner or a retailer be associated with Scootsy? What's in store for them?
Well, a fair amount, I would say. When we started, it was only restaurant food. But the restaurants that we were carrying before we came around were not delivering food at all. So it's a new revenue stream for them. The other categories is actually even more interesting because most of our partners, if you go through the list, which is about 1,500 now, are small, medium enterprises who were doing business in a particular location, and their consumers were also from that particular location only. So we've opened the consumer base to them across city. This is an opportunity for them to, without increasing or investing in infrastructure, reach out to consumers citywide.
Started in 2015, Scootsy collaborated with over 1,500 SMEs by providing them an unique digital discovery platform which is accessible as an app, through the web and via a telephone hotline. Scootsy exclusively partnered with reputed brands like The Table, Kala Khora Cafe, Swedish House Mafia, Global Desi, The Label Life and Hamleys Tresmode to make sure it delivers products to consumers anywhere across the city without any minimum value limitation.
So Rishi, tell me about the funding scenario. Why would an investor put his money on Scootsy?
We actually look at a wider delivery radius from anyone else. We look at more exclusive deals. We look at bespoke menus from time to time. So I think we have a clear differentiator from anyone else out there. Because our average order value is the highest in category, our unit economics work. So despite whether the wind blows in the way of food tech or doesn't blow in the way of delivery services, our business is a sustainable business. I think for us, we're looking at disrupting commerce and e-commerce as you see it, because if you're getting something instantly, which is what our platform's about. Our platform's about curating the best of a city and getting it to you in an instant. That means it's instant gratification.
So Scootsy services are currently available in Mumbai. As an expansion plan, what are the other cities that you're planning to cater to?
So we are expanding to Delhi, we're expanding to other metro cities like Bangalore in the near term. We are also doing, maybe an offshoot. So we've actually got something called Scootsy Holiday that's launching in Goa pretty soon. And here our riders will be wearing more, holiday attire, will be looking like they're in Hawaii, etc. And the type of businesses that we're listing on are the ones that you'd probably want to order from when you're on a holiday. The international plans are on, so we are looking at Dubai, Singapore and other key markets like Hong Kong.
Since Scootsy is opening up a plethora of options when it comes to employment opportunities in India, give us your thoughts on the Government of India's Skill India movement.
Our focus from the get-go has been on creating a better experience from anything out there. That means when you call the call center, the way our people answer the phone has to be very different from anything you've experienced. So we actually run F&B management training programs with our guys, where we train them on how to answer the call. We train them on stuff like food notes, spice notes, etc. We train them on the menu. And this actually, elevates them, so they're more like a food concierge rather than, a mere call center employee. We've today enabled a lot of small, medium businesses that in turn are also employing the youth.
Scootsy ensures quick delivery of service and aims to create a virtual marketplace for need-based purchases of customers. With over 600 delivery riders on the go in Mumbai alone, Scootsy has its eyes set for more metro cities of India in years to come.
Green is more than just a color, it happens to be the color of the hemp super crop, and this next organization, which calls itself India's first industrial hemp company, is cultivating and commercializing the rich range of products that can be derived from this fast-growing fibrous substance which is found in abundance in nature. If you are an MSME in the manufacturing, retail or agriculture space, here are some takeaways from this very unique company that Pooja Jain caught up with.
What's the first thing you think of when you hear the word hemp? For the less initiated, its close counterpart, marijuana, may be what comes to mind. But to lift your spirits, we're putting the spotlight on the variety that's free of narcotic effects. Recognizing the super crop's untapped potential, the Bombay Hemp Company, or Bohiko for short, is creating innovative hemp-based products for the Indian market that cater to the most basic needs of mankind, namely food, clothing and shelter. With fewer than a dozen employees and just shy of 4 years old, the company is hard at work connecting individuals and institutions in its quest to build an industrial hemp ecosystem. Here are some highlights of our encounter with the hemp enthusiasts.
So you're 7 college classmates turned colleagues. How did you all even get on the same page with respect to, first of all, the concept of capitalizing on hemp, and secondly, making a career of it?
The first part involved all 7 of us actually engaging in a social entrepreneurship project called Project Chirag. in our college days. Now this project was majorly focused around what kind of rural solutions can be brought about through solar electrification, through the right kind of programs and proposals. But when we went into villages, whether in Karnataka, whether in Maharashtra, whether in Rajasthan, no matter how deep into the rural hinterland you went, the one common plant or one common piece of vegetation you saw was cannabis. And that got us thinking about, okay, hold on, there's something here that we're not seeing. I realized that, okay, perhaps we have an advantage and opportunity in India, considering the sheer volume of cannabis that we're actually dealing with in the country. Someone has to do hemp, and if it is somebody who is pushing cannabis in the country, why not us? Because perhaps what it needs and perhaps what is lacked so far has been the right kind of enthusiastic youthful face that represents the future of how this can be an industry.
What are the fundamental qualities and properties of hemp that make it a desirable raw material?
So as a raw material, majorly hemp at the moment is being used for textile purposes. The kind of superior properties it has to even conventional materials such as cotton, wool, etc. is far stronger and far longer. It most importantly, when you wash it, it has the fabric itself has a breathable capacity. It's a very absorbable fabric. So majorly when you wash it, actually gets better with time, kind of like wine. In the Indian diet, predominantly protein is lacking, majorly because we're a vegetarian culture and a vegetarian system. So as a result, people turn to soya and they're turning to a lot more of these functional and superfoods. But unfortunately, a lot of these foods don't have the right kind of digestible protein for our body, which is something not all of us know, though hemp seeds do. So across the spectrum, whether it's the seed or the fiber, and regardless of the industry is going, whether it's foods, whether it's textiles, or whether it's even cosmetics, each component of it marks a certain superiority to conventional products that exist, whether in a synthetic or a natural domain today.
So for a concept to gain commercial acceptance, striking the right alliances becomes critical. What steps have you taken in that direction?
Now, whether it's dealing with the Ministry of Textiles, the Narcotic Bureau, whether it's actually dealing with the state excise ministries, what we've come to understand is the collective tone is of acceptance of the Indian government, which creates the bridge for alliance, wherein which a lot of bureaucratic stakeholders themselves have said it's not a question of if, it's when and how India can actually make this happen.
So now that you've built this industrial hemp ecosystem and brought it to life, is educating the end consumer ever a challenge?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and I like to look at it from multiple perspectives. Number one, considering we are perhaps one of the youngest countries in the world at this moment, where we have about 650 million people under the age of 35, combined with the fact that we're in the hyper-information age, so the accessibility to information about these concepts is a click away. Along with this sentiment that exists within the younger communities that the solutions that were perhaps brought about by previous generations may not be sustainable, may not be enough to power us into the future for 50 to 100 years to come. These three intertwine themselves in such a way, and something we've understood, that results in the consumer base gradually expanding beyond anything that we could comprehend in our initial sights. With the younger generations, they are much more open to the concept, much more progressive. They are willing to wear something that's going to save the environment as compared to something that will destroy a farmer's livelihood in the metaphorical mindset. But when it comes to the elder generation, the separation of cannabis or bhang as a concept from recreation to industrial is perhaps not as much of a challenge if you deal with it maturely, and most importantly, the quality of the product, or the quality of the output of the product is the major reckoner of how people perceive this in the long run.
So achieving economies of scale is critical for any business model to become viable. How do you balance that priority without compromising on the socio-economic and environmental impact that you pride yourselves on?
Of course. So now the biggest issue that hemp faces globally is precisely this, economies of scale. Now the conundrum we face is that there is cannabis everywhere across this country, in every state. The fiber is of high quality, you have 22 feet plants, 15 feet plants. But if you were to go to state A and measure the cannabis there against state B, it would never be of a standard variety or quality. But to standardize this kind of low narcotic, low THC hemp cannabis plant is a challenge we took upon ourselves by actually aiming and getting collectively successfully the first research license to work with certain government institutions to go around the country, survey the wild cannabis, collect the best scientific samples, take it back into a laboratory, break it down at a simple molecular and a chemical level, and more importantly is a long-term picture where the economies of scale can easily be achieved in the future in India if we get the science right.
Making the most of the Make in India era, Bohiko has big plans ahead on the R&D front and with respect to on-ground operations at the grassroots level and beyond. In the business world of black and white, Bombay Hemp Company has firmly planted its place by going green.
Today we've brought you tips from our experts in terms of how to use technology if you are an MSME entrepreneur. And do remember that if you want your company to be featured on our show or you have any queries for your business, you can write in to us. The email ID is leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com. You can personally tweet at me at Sunanda_J. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT or call us on that number that you see on your screens. And we promise to have your queries answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
If you feel you have what it takes to be awarded as the best in the business, here is your chance to apply. Head on over to our website, download the form and apply. If you face any troubles when applying or feel the need to get in touch with us directly, email us, call us, tweet at me directly at Sunanda_J or join our Facebook group.